The RBC Canadian Open is about to tee off here at Royal Montreal, and SCOREGolf, of course, is on site. We'll have lots of coverage for you all week long, but before we get into the actual tournament, it's time for a little picking of our favorites. And Jason, Logan, first of all, let's talk about this golf course. It is a historic club, the oldest golf club in North America. This golf course was back to the 60s, but was redone in 2007 for the President's Cup. Your thoughts on it?
It's a bit of a hybrid, and I asked Jim Furyk this question, and he sort of talked about how from the tee to the green, it would fit into that classic course definition, but then the greens, as you said, are all brand new, those raised Reese Jones greens with the quadrants and the spines separating those quadrants. So it's really a tough course to classify, but it's got that old school look to it, but I think plays more like a modern golf course.
And this week, we've had some rain here. It's fairly soft. It was not a great growing season here, so the rough is down. Could be a birdie fest. We'll see when they tee off on Thursday. Now, speaking of that, Jason, let's get to some favorites here. We're each going to pick a Canadian and a non-Canadian who we think will compete here. First of all, give me your Canadian pick.
Sure, I'm gonna take Adam Hadwin, a guy who's had success in the Canadian Open before. Obviously, performed very well at Shaughnessy. Had a very solid season on the Web.com tour this year, and I just think he brings a fresh approach, sort of not a laid-back attitude, but sort of can't lose anything, nothing to lose attitude playing out here. And when he gets it rolling, he can get it rolling really good. Okay,
my pick is going to be David Hearn, coming off a big week at the Open Championship, his first battle with Links Golf. He really enjoyed it. He seems to have a really good attitude this year. I know he's working with Mike Weir's psychologist, Rich Gordon, now, and that may have sharpened his focus a little bit, and he always has a nice calm demeanor, which I think a lot of Canadians can kind of get built up too much with this tournament. So I think I'm going to look to him to be the low Canadian. As for my pick from non-Canadian group, I'm going to take Matt Kuchar. I think Matt Kuchar has such a great, consistent game. He does everything well, and I think this kind of a golf course, which is a traditional style golf course, suits his game. He's looking forward to this tournament, so that's why I've picked him.
You mentioned it before off the top, the soft conditions, the rough's not up as much. The fairways, I think, are a little bit wider than the players are used to seeing at a Canadian Open. I put that all together and I look for a bomber to win, and I'm going to take Dustin Johnson, who had a really good chance last year at Glen Abbey until he hit that tee shot way offline on the 17th hole, basically handing the tournament to Brant Snedeker. So perhaps some redemption for Dustin Johnson, who's had a pretty solid season.
He has had a solid season, and of course his Canadian connection, where he's going to marry the daughter of the great one very soon. Come back to ScoreGolf.com. We'll have lots more videos here. Also, Jason's blog, my blog, complete coverage of the RBC Canadian Open from Royal Montreal.